the drifts that we are dealing with in parking lots across the valley and all of the ice that we're seeing, it making things a little bit more challenging. Take a look. Look how much it washed out from this foundation here. This house moved off of its foundation and over into the street. The police and rescue teams are trying to get a woman out of a car that was just hit by a Rockingham County Sheriff's deputy. Consider this, every day in America, 9 people killed in a crash involving distracted driving, including using a cell phone behind the wheel. When you do use a cell phone behind the wheel, you increase your chances of a crash by 4 times. The issue is they're experts in uploading content to social media and the internet, and relatively less familiar with Word documents and spreadsheets. Now, you take this seemingly healthy orange juice and take a look at how much sugar is in it. 42 grams. All right, so we're following up on some breaking news at this hour. At least one person is dead in a motorcycle crash just north of the city of Harrisonburg. Let's go live to the scene. We have a camera crew set up right now. This is what we're looking at. This is the 5900 block of North Valley Pike, also known as Route 11. It is running just fine, but these single-digit temperatures are an issue. I want you to take a look behind me. This 0-degree weather that we're expecting tomorrow morning can lead to a 60% drop in your car battery's effectiveness. The fire burned between 5 and 10 acres here. You can see on the map where the flames were burning in the woods. That smoke visible from the fire for about 12 miles. That 11 of 12 of footballs just like this used in the game between the Patriots and the Colts were underinflated. So we switch it over to the infrared view. You can see my coat is hanging open. All that heat is escaping from this space. But take a look over my shoulder. You can see that wildfire that's burning. 70 acres on fire right now. A station wagon was pulling onto North Main Street. At the same time, a Rockingham County Sheriff's deputy cruiser was coming up North Main Street responding to a call. That's when the two cars collided. If you're in an upper floor of a building, you want to get down using the stairs, avoid using the elevators, and make your way to a tornado shelter. Maybe where you work, you see these signs. These are the areas, safest places when a tornado is threatening your area. So if you're in a house, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside of the building. When you put your brakes on in your car, it might take a few hundred feet to come from a stop of going 55 miles per hour. But when a train applies its brakes, well, let me show you how far it takes. So when a train puts on its brakes going 55 miles per hour, it takes 18 football field lengths to come to a complete stop, or 1 mile. This is the media release sent out by the Baltimore police earlier today. It says there's a credible threat to law enforcement across the nation. Could you kind of walk me through, since that sentencing came down, what all you have been going through? You had to take your Facebook page down, your cell phone had to change. Talk to me about that online presence that has been taken away.
Cool.
Is there anything that you would like to say to the people who accused you of what you did? And as I aim the temperature gun at it, it is rating a temperature of about -3 degrees. So those untreated surfaces are what we're watching tonight. Shooting trains along Norfolk Southern's line that runs through the Shenandoah Valley here in Boyce is easy during the daytime, but when you turn the lights off, there's a little more work that goes into it. I'm putting these new poles in so that they can make way for the wider road here on Reservoir Street. One of the first places they're going to look is under these ledges and under your doormat to see if you have a spare key hidden. These pipes, they have insulation on them. It's this foam insulation, but the pipes that don't have that insulation, they're going to freeze a lot easier. It's about teaching these players and everybody in the stands what it means to give a true sacrifice. We've got some pretty serious road conditions, especially on the I-64 corridor. A lot of that icing taking place. And also, we just found out that in the community of Port Republic Road is shut down because of just how much ice is on the road. They say this major hole created in their driveway, which is the only way to and from their house, was created when water backed up the stream from a culvert running under the Norfolk Southern Railway.
You can actually see the gas. It's like a white vapor. It's coming up out of the ground. It looks like a geyser almost, steaming up out of the ground. So Columbia gas crews are on scene along with the Harrisonburg Fire Department. Yeah, when people living in Criders showed up to this building, their post office, they were given these pamphlets with information on how much this building is actually being used. And it's not the only place in the valley that's being visited. And it's the number 24 relay across the country. And right now I'm joined by Glennette Poland. She's from Newmarket. Glennette, this is not your first relay. Look at this cart.
one person bought all of these toys for the kids in our area. Major, this has got to warm your heart to see this. You get your penny, make sure that Abraham Lincoln is turned upside down, and then stick him down in the tread. It's a sport that brings the entire community together and fills up these stands at Stonewall Jackson High School. I'm talking about football, and they say that this season they had trouble getting players to come out for the team, but that's not the case anymore. The sound of a text message. It can be maddening for some not to answer. Just look at these people we caught on their phones on Interstate 81. If you're speeding down the highway, though, the choice to respond can be deadly. Just ask Joy Rowley.
I think about him every day. For a long time, I thought he would somehow magically, it was all a bad dream.
Investigators say her son Kyle was killed by someone who was texting moments before a crash that took his life in Fairfax County in 2011, a day his mother says she'll never forget.
It was just surreal. I just couldn't believe it. I still don't believe it. It's just so hard to come to terms with.
That crash happened before the current texting and driving law went into effect. Rowley says it's one reason she worked so hard to help get the current code on the books.
This tragedy affects, it doesn't discriminate, and it could affect anybody and any family, rich, poor, color, creed, and it's a big problem.
Here in the Shenandoah Valley, police agree.
Well, it's very frustrating for us.
Waynesboro police officer Aaron Will is one of the few officers in the valley who has actually written someone up for texting and driving. The reason?
It's hard to prove.
It's hard to prove because you can't say to somebody, hey, give me your phone.
Yeah.
Take a look at these numbers from the Valley. In Harrisonburg, 13 charged with texting and driving last year. In Rockingham County, 4 in the last 2 years. Waynesboro, 3 in the last 2 years. In Stanton, no one charged. Right now in Virginia, texting another person while moving behind the wheel is considered a primary offense, which means police can pull you over if they think you're texting and driving. Officer Will says that's easier said than done.
I mean, can you even see people looking down? No, it's pretty tough.
Really, you can't out here.
Yeah.
If they want us to enforce it, they need to make it more detailed.
And the numbers don't lie. Consider this. Every day in America, 9 people killed in a crash involving distracted driving, including using a cell phone behind the wheel. When you do use a cell phone behind the wheel, you increase your chances of a crash by 4 times. And research shows that 1 in 4 crashes involve using a cell phone behind the wheel. They're numbers that local police back up.
Distracted driving is a big cause of most of our accidents.
Yeah.
I'd say texting is probably near the top right now.
Right now, Republican Delegate Richard Anderson is working in the General Assembly to update the 2013 texting and driving law. His update would make it illegal for drivers in Virginia to use any handheld personal communication devices while behind the wheel, including cell phones, a measure Officer Will says could do some good.
It takes a couple seconds for you to look down, take your eye off the road, a kid steps out.
Yeah.
It's not going to end well.
And the update is another step in the legacy Kyle Rowley's family says he'll leave behind.
I guess I have chosen now to be grateful that we had him for 19 years, but it'll never be good again.
Channing, until the proposed update passes, what kind of penalty do people face who are caught texting and driving?
Well, the first time you're caught texting and driving, the fine is $125. If you're caught again, it's $250 each time you're caught after the first time. If you want to learn more about the proposed changes to this bill, well, you can visit our website, WHSV.com, using your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Just please don't do it while you're driving. Live in Harrisonburg, Channing.Frampton, WHSV.
This is WHSV-TV 3 News 11 at 11. 11 minutes of nonstop news and weather starts now.
You plan for the worst and hope for the best.
The job of a police officer is more than just coffee and donuts, much more. Ahead, only on WHSV, an inside look at how officers in the Valley put their lives at risk every day to keep you safe. Plus, we're remembering a journalist with ties to the Valley who was killed on live television a year ago
how Harrisonburg is honoring her memory tonight. But first, we are tracking crime where we live. Hi, everybody. I'm Channing.Frampton. Morgan Donnelly and John Rogers are off tonight. Checking in with police in the Valley. They say they are still looking for this serial bank robber who has struck multiple times in the northern Shenandoah Valley. Right now, the FBI is involved, and they're offering a reward of up to $15,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the man you see on your screen right now. He is considered armed and dangerous and is believed to be linked to at least 9 armed bank robberies in Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland. The FBI describes him as 5'1" to 5'8" tall, weighs about 140 to 200 pounds. He's 30 to 50 years old, has brown hair, a medium build, and light skin. We know this is a very vague description, but this is all the FBI has given us to go on. If you know who he is, contact the FBI in Richmond. We do have their phone number, pictures, a list of robbed banks, and what to do if you can help with this story right now in the WHSV News app. You can find it on your smartphone or tablet where we're always on. And new at 11, we are updating some breaking news from across the Atlantic Ocean in Belgium. A Belgian newspaper is reporting that an explosion has rocked a sports center in the Belgian town of Chimay, with reports of at least 1 person dead and 2 people hurt. The blast happened just after midnight Belgian time, and several people were in the building at the time. The spokesman representing the area, who was not named, said that a large section of the building had collapsed and that where people were feared trapped inside the rubble. The cause of this explosion is still under investigation right now. And first at 10, new details on this apparent murder-suicide that took the lives of 2 people in Shenandoah County earlier this week. The Shenandoah County Sheriff's Office confirms when they got to the scene here Tuesday night, they found keys in the door and a note that said, quote, "There has been a shooting." When deputies went inside, they found 58-year-old Deborah June Ward and 77-year-old Edward Joseph Nonamaker, each dead of apparent gunshot wounds. And new at 11, we do want to let you know that we are aware of the police activity in the reports of a helicopter flying around the Waynesboro area right now. We are still working to confirm what exactly is going on through official sources, and we do have a reporter on the way to the scene. As soon as we know what's going on, we'll be sure to let you know first in the WHSV News app. And police violence across the country has prompted members of our community and local law enforcement to start a conversation. A question that comes up continuously is, what do officers do during the day? Well, tonight only on WHSV, WHSV's Katie Kaler spent a day with local law enforcement to find out. Powerful stuff. All right, thank you, Katie. And for a closer look at the work of Harrisonburg Police and the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office over the past year, check out this story in the WHSV News app now. Well, Virginia could be facing a larger than expected budget deficit. The Washington Post reports it could be as high as $1.5 billion. The Post cites 2 sources with information on the budget situation in the Commonwealth. They say the governor will make the official announcement tomorrow. The Post says it would be the biggest shortfall in Virginia history. And 1 year ago tomorrow, WDBJ journalists Allison Parker and Adam Ward were killed on live television at Smith Mountain Lake. It's a story that hit very close to home for us. Allison was an intern with WHSV years ago and a student at James Madison University.
In what way do you live life to the fullest? What inspires you to get out of bed in the morning? That kind of thing.
Now students at JMU are taking to social media to remember the 2. A moment of silence was held this morning in front of Wilson Hall to remember the lives of Allison and Adam, the lives that they led. And the students of JMU's student newspaper, The Breeze, were then spread out across campus asking people how do they live their lives to the fullest the way that Allison and Adam did.
Adam and Allison just lived incredibly full lives, and so I felt like what we needed to do was celebrate the last day they were fully alive.
And you can be a part of today's tribute. Share how you live life to the fullest. Just use the hashtag #AllisonAdamStories. We've got this story on the WHSV-TV3 Facebook page right now.